So many shocking and horrible things in the news this week. Here's my list from bad to worst. Scientists say there's a huge asteroid that could end all human life moving toward Earth. There's a possibility of another war in Iraq. A riot broke out in Ferguson, Missouri after a black teen was shot by police. One of the funniest and most successful comedians, Robin Williams, committed suicide. But the worst news I've heard all week, MTV is bringing Jersey Shore to Acapulco, Mexico. The horror! Ave María Purísima. Yo te dije, vieja, es el fin del mundo. Hola amigos, my name's Eddie G and you are watching POV on Me Too News. POV is a series in which I take topics in the news and I give them the Eddie G 1, 2, 3. Okay, I may not be completely serious about the order of that list, but I think we can all agree that it was a pretty horrible week in news. From natural forces to man-made ones, it just seems everything is heading toward one of two things. Total destruction of humanity as we know it, or the start of it. But if I'm being completely honest, there's actually one thing on this list that I'm not really worried about. Nope, not Jersey Shore, I'm talking about the asteroid. That's because scientists say this asteroid, officially called Asteroid 1950 DA, may hit the Earth, get this, in the year, brace yourselves, don't get too scared, 2880. I think by that time we'll have either figured out how to destroy it or destroyed ourselves. Which brings me to my next story, Iraq. There is tension and violence in Iraq due to a group calling themselves the Islamic State, which has also been referred to as ISIS in the news. Apparently this militant group took over a large portion of Iraq practically overnight. Now you may be wondering, Eddie, what happened to the billions and billions of dollars worth of military aid and support we provided the military police in Iraq?
They are armed to the teeth, but looks can be deceptive. This is the Iraqi army in Mosul 2 days before their capitulation and humiliation.
These guys pretty much gave up. I think the United States should have invested some of that money in prevention rather than defense. You know, sometimes guns and military vehicles do more harm than good. Which brings me to the next story. Where do you think this photo was taken? Or what about this one? If you guessed Ferguson, Missouri, you are absolutely right. Riots erupted in Ferguson, Missouri after a police officer shot and killed an unarmed black teenager named Michael Brown. Some accounts say that the teens were walking down the street when police officers told them to get on the sidewalk. The teens yelled something back at the officers, which led to a verbal dispute, and this is pretty much where accounts differ. According to the police, a physical fight ensued and Michael Brown tried to reach for the officer's gun. Other accounts say that the police officer first shot at Brown from the car and then went and shot him again while he had his hands up saying, "Hands up, don't shoot." The story is bad enough as it is, but what made things worse was that the police department, instead of releasing the information, didn't want to give up the name of the officer who shot Michael Brown. And of course, this angered a lot of people in the community. Over the past few days, things have calmed down a little bit, but there's still a lot of unanswered questions. Which brings me to the next story. The world was shocked by the news that Robin Williams, a very well-known actor and comedian in the United States, committed suicide after a long battle with depression. There's a lot of speculation as to why he actually ended his life. Some say that it was a battle with alcohol. Others think that his career was on the decline. Maybe it was depression over the news that he was in the early stages of Parkinson's disease. But whatever the case may be, Robin Williams was a very talented actor and comedian, and he's gonna be dearly missed. The last news that I want to talk about is Acapulco Shore. This week news were released that MTV is working on a series called Acapulco Shore, which basically is Jersey Shore but in Mexico. The show will track the lives of 8 Mexicans living in or around the town of Acapulco, Mexico. You can expect to see a lot of skin, drinking, drama, and probably a lot of vomit. If there's anything good that could come of this is that maybe they can cover what's going on down there with all the drug cartel violence and why this is a very common sight nowadays. But anyway, that's all I have for this week. Hopefully you guys are all caught up. If you want to keep the conversation going, make sure you go like us on Facebook. All the links are down below. My name's Eddie G. I'll see ya next week.